do you think that it is responsible for the federal government to tax working class American citizens to pay for studies that cost over $400,000 asking whether lonely rats seek more often than happy rats do?
I have no position on that particular policy. I would need to know more.
You have no position on whether we should be
I would
spending
need to know
taxpayer
much
dollars getting rats high on. You know what? It's great to be on the side of the aisle after having won a massive mandate from the American people. President Trump, of course, winning not only the Electoral College, but the popular vote, delivering us a majority in the House and in the Senate. It's kind of funny to me because we've seen such outrage over Doge as if this is something that's new. Whenever I've been talking to my constituents in North Texas for months and months and months about President Trump coming to the White House and getting Elon Musk involved in cleaning up waste in our federal government, it seems to me that leftists are apoplectic not because our tax dollars are being wasted on idiotic things, but because all of it is being exposed all of the sudden, which I think is certainly a beautiful thing. So much of this government waste has been operating in the shadows where the American people don't know about it and has been largely unaccounted for. And so many of these programs wouldn't exist and will not exist now that they're being exposed. I could give so many examples of wasteful spending, but I'd like to name just a few and get y'all's opinion on these. Just recently, the Department of Health and Human Services spent over $400,000 studying whether lonely rats seek more often than happy rats do. Mr. Schatz, thank you for being here. I'd like to ask you, do you think that that's a responsible use of taxpayer dollars?
No, it's not. And those are the examples that get people interested in doing more about wasteful spending. They're silly, but it's where their money is going.
That's exactly right. And Mr. Resch, let me ask you, do you think that it is responsible for the federal government to tax working class American citizens to pay for studies that cost over $400,000 asking whether lonely rats seek more often than happy rats do?
I have no position on that particular policy. I would need to know more.
You have no position on whether we should be spending taxpayer dollars getting rats high on.
I know that addiction is an important problem, and if it leads to insights that lead to reductions in addiction, I'm sure that it has a multiplying effect. If that's the case, you would have to see the indicator.
I agree, and I'm going to reclaim my time here. I agree that addiction is a very serious problem, but I doubt that the plumbers and electricians and working class citizens of North Texas that I represent are going to be very happy whenever they find out that they're paying to get rats high. Let me give you another example. We've recently spent $123,000 to teach youth in Kyrgyzstan how to go viral. Mr. Schatz, do you think that that's a good use of taxpayer dollars?
No, I don't.
I don't either. What about you, Mr. Resch?
No position.
No position. Okay. Got it. Let's do another one then. We've recently spent over $3 million from the Department of State for girl-centered climate action. Mr. Schatz, is that an appropriate use of our tax dollars?
I don't think so.
Mr. Resch?
No position.
No position. Got it. What about, over the past 4 years, the United States has had a grotesque border crisis that was created by the federal government in the Biden administration. Nevertheless, we spent over $2 million for border security in Paraguay. Mr. Schatz, let me ask you, do you think that that is an appropriate use given the context of American taxpayer dollars?
Well, only if it impacted immigrants or whatever you want to call them, people coming to the United States illegally. That might have some merit, but depends on the purpose.
I agree. What about you, Mr. Resch?
Again, depends on the purpose and the outcome.
Got it. I think that that's incredibly enlightening. Over the past couple weeks, really, we have seen all of the nonsensical areas that our tax dollars have gone to. We found that Our taxpayer dollars, we just found out today, are being sent to left-wing media outlets like Politico and the BBC. We've known for a long time that our tax dollars are funding NPR and PBS. We've seen our tax dollars go to left-wing NGOs, and I think that the takeaway is that large portions of the left's institutional ecosystem are dependent upon taxpayer subsidies. And I think that that's a problem. I'm thrilled Doge is here because we're going to get rid of it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield my time.